Welcome to B&C Car Reviews channel. 2025 Mercedes-Benz EQG first ride, setting a new standard? Fabien Chassaud puts his foot on the brake and presses a button on the dash. He keeps the steering wheel in the straight-ahead position and holds down the right-hand shift paddle. He lifts his foot off the brake, punches the gas, and the world goes crazy. Suddenly, the almost 6,000-pound Mercedes-Benz G-Class is spinning in one spot as if a giant had skewered it to the ground and casually flicked its left front corner with a finger. The horizon is a kaleidoscopic blur of color and dust, accompanied by the scrabble of rubber on rock and dirt. Round and round and round and round we spin. I'm getting dizzy. Meet the electric-powered, four-motor 2025 Mercedes-Benz EQG. Chassaud lifts off the accelerator and the 2025 Mercedes EQG stops suddenly, rocking gently on its springs, having traveled no farther forward or backward from its starting position. The G-Class chief engineer looks across and smiles. "Want to go in the other direction?" he asks, reaching for the left-hand paddle. Chassaud admits he's not entirely sure whether the G-turn, as G-Class engineers have dubbed it, has a practical application. But it has no equal as a party trick, and encapsulates why the quad-motor 2025 Mercedes-Benz EQG will be the most astonishing G-Class ever built, more astonishing, even, than the towering, bonkers G63 4x4. Hurry up and wait. The all-electric EQG is still 2 years away from production, but after spending a day riding in a pair of prototypes on brutal, rocky trails near Perpignan in the south of France, it's easy to see the EQG is a game-changer in terms of its off-road capability and performance. It's stunningly impressive in the rough stuff. There's still a lot of work to do, however, insists Mercedes-Benz G-boss Emmerich Schiller. It is the most complex EV in the world in terms of the code controlling the drivetrain, he says. Indeed, a technician rode in the back seat of our prototypes with a laptop plugged into the EQG's neural network, monitoring its performance and looking for gargoyles in the data streams. Unlike the EQS and EQE SUVs, the EQG is not built on a version of Mercedes-Benz EVA2 electric vehicle architecture. Instead, the EQG is a bit like those battery-powered reworks of classic Land Rovers, Mustangs, and Porsches, with all the EV hardware packaged under instantly recognizable sheet metal. Underlying tech. The 2025 Mercedes EQG looks just like a regular W463 Series G-Class, inside and out. Its electric vehicle wizardry is tucked out of sight. Achieving this, while also ensuring the EQG matches or betters the impressive off-road capability of the regular G-Class, has required some clever engineering. Ironically, the G-Class's old-school ladder frame played a fundamental part in solving the packaging puzzle. With the internal combustion engine hardware removed, the area between the axles and inside the frame rails provided a natural location in which to package and protect a large battery. And there's room at either end for e-motors. The frame is strengthened to reduce flex, and the battery, waterproof to ensure the EQG has the same weighting capability as the regular G-Class, is protected by a high-tech composite panel that stretches between the axles. Like the regular G-Class, the 2025 Mercedes-Benz EQG has a multi-link independent front axle and a non-independent rear axle. Having an e-motor power each wheel is straightforward with an all-independent suspension setup such as that used by the four-motor Rivians, but combining a pair of e-motors with a non-independent rear axle required some lateral thinking. Motor skills. The electric motors could not be part of a solid axle because, among other things, they would add a lot of unsprung weight. The solution was an engineering concept almost as old as the automobile, the de Dion axle, which dates to about 1894. The de Dion design features a rigid tube connecting the wheel hubs on either side of the car, so it behaves like a solid axle. Drive to each wheel comes via separate half-shafts with universal joints on either end that allow the EQG's rear e-motors to bolt securely to the chassis. They still drive the wheels while the axle delivers the articulation needed for ultimate off-road performance. The EQG has the same 3 off-road drive modes as the regular G-Class: trail, rock, and sand, and rolls on steel springs with adaptive shocks. Our 2 prototypes wore the Falken Wild Peak Ace/T265/60 tires on 18-inch wheels, a setup that will be the production specification. Mercedes envisioned the EQG as a 4-motor EV from the outset, and not just so it could spin like a top for clickbait videos. As every serious off-roader knows, the trick to negotiating extreme terrain is maintaining traction, and that means controlling the torque at the wheels. A 4-motor EV drivetrain allows the torque going to each wheel to be controlled independently under all conditions. And to make that control even more precise in extreme terrain, the EQG has a proper low range, courtesy of a reduction gear system on the output shaft of each e-motor. The roughly 2:1 reduction gearing is selected with the push of a button while the car is stationary and the drive selector is in neutral.